Okay, shall we start now? A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Promising Kwananzi. I'll be the spokesperson of the CCC as we go forward. We've called this press conference just to give you an update on the situation unfolding in the country and our attitude towards the process thus far. We wish to start by thanking the citizens of Zimbabwe who have shown unrelenting resilience and determination to exercise their inalienable democratic right to vote. We think that this is paramount, this is important, because the right to vote did not come for free. There was a protracted struggle to bring about the realization of the right to vote. And we cannot surrender that right today. So we continue to urge our citizens to remain vigilant in exercising that right and safeguarding and protecting their expression through the ballot. The next coming days are going to be crucial in determining the future of this country. President Nelson Chamisa is well and fine, ready and geared to form a government for everyone. To form a government, an all-inclusive government, which will benefit all citizens in the country. As a movement, we are currently seized with monitoring the electoral process, particularly the V11s and V23s. We are watching ZEC, and we hope that ZEC is going to do the right thing. We know that there are areas where they are refusing to post the V11s and the V23s. And in some instances, it is alleged that presiding officers are actually instructed to make clandestine phone calls before publishing the V11s. We ask our observers, local and international, and our political party observers to record the results and ensure that the results that were counted at the polling station are the same results that will be posted. We are still concerned with the process. We feel that the electoral process is fundamentally flawed and is unable to produce a free and fair electoral outcome. Nonetheless, we knew this beforehand, and we've prepared ourselves to win an unfree and unfair election. How do we do this? We've done that by registering our people overwhelmingly and ensuring that as much as possible and using all means permissible in a democratic society, we defend and protect our vote. So far, the information we have is that we are leading on the presidential election comfortably, and we are doing well on the parliamentary elections. We expect this trend to continue because the people of Zimbabwe have decided that they want change. And the expression of that desire for change is going to come through the victory of the Citizens Coalition for Change and President Nelson Chamisa. As I said earlier on, we're still concerned about the process, and I'm going to highlight some of the key irregularities, which in our view are sufficient to nullify and invalidate this election by a competent court of law. ZEC had an obligation to give us the correct voters' roll upon the successful nomination of our candidates. It was not to be. The ballot papers, we still did not know who printed them, where they were printed, and how many were printed. ZEC had announced that they printed 7.1 million ballot papers for the presidential election and 6.6 million for the parliamentary and local government election. Now the question that begs answers is, how did we have the level of shortage that we witnessed and the delays in the delivery of ballot papers, in particular in areas that are perceived to be the strongholds of the Citizens Coalition for Change? This is a clear indication of the unwillingness of ZANU-PF and ZEC to be transparent and to provide a level playing field for all political actors in Zimbabwe. Still on the ballots, there were pathetic photos of our candidates, in particular our presidential candidate, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. We believe that it was deliberate to put a picture which was not clear in the desperate attempt to cloud the will of the people. We do not accept this, and we hope that we'll have an improvement in the future. In 2018, the AU Observer Mission made a recommendation that ZEC must be more transparent and more consultative in the coming elections. I'm afraid to say that they have not passed that test, and subsequently they have compromised their credibility as an impartial, professional, and credible body to conduct free and fair elections. Free and fair elections are the backbone of legitimacy. If Mr. Mnangagwa wants to claim any veil of legitimacy, he must allow Zimbabwe to have a free and fair election, which in turn will allow our people to freely express their will. In conclusion, we heard that ZEC was saying they delayed the printing of ballot papers because of court cases that were brought about, not just by the CCC, but by other parties. We want to put on record that we should not have gone to court in the first place if ZEC had been doing things properly. The fact that people were going to court over commonsensical processes is in itself a great cause for concern. We would not have gone to court if ZEC had done things properly. But the paradox is that if we had not gone to court, it would have been worse. So ZEC must stop making flimsy excuses. They had 5 years to prepare for this election. We gave them a benefit of doubt. Unfortunately, they failed the test. We are also seeing a concern on some of the figures we are receiving on the ground. For example, some of the delimitation anomalies are the fact that we are supposed to have at least between 22,000 and 33,000 per constituency. I'm told that in Mbare, more than 43,000 voted. It means, therefore, that between February and the closure of the registration process, a curious 12,000 additional voters registered. It's a red flag. It's also prevalent in Churu and in other areas. I think I've come to the end of our update. I will invite members of the press to ask questions. My sister Ellen will assist me with the questions, with picking, and I'll be answering the question.
Thank you. Before we take questions, I think, thank you. Before we take questions, I think it's important that we talk about the arrest of our colleagues in the civic sector, the arrest of our members of ZESNI, and okay. As the CCC, we want to reiterate the fact that we are a free country, and our constitution and our laws in general, allow for free space and also allow for accountability. And what our colleagues in the civic sector, specifically ZESNI and ERC, we're trying to ensure that we have a transparent election and also enhance the accountability of this election. This is the mandate. This is their mandate as the election watchdogs. And therefore, as the CCC, in addition to what my colleague said, we want to strongly condemn their arrests. And we want to ensure that they will be released soon, and they will be given the opportunity to continue in executing their mandate. So that's what I wanted to add on to. So maybe we can take one or two questions, which we would respond to. You could just introduce yourself and indicate the media house that you belong to.
My name is Chingetaizo from Spain International News Service. From you saying the information that you are reading in terms of political votes and parliament, can you tell us the figures that makes you say that statement?
Okay, another one.
My name is Duncan Kamba from NTV Kenya. I would want to know the issue that he has talked about unclear picture of your candidate on the ballot paper. Wasn't there time that parties were supposed to verify the images and a sample of the ballot papers? Was that one not done?
The third one? Yes.
My name is Panashima from Sources Media. I wanted to ask, there are rumors that advocate my dismissed from the post of the spokes. Is it true? What happened?
Thank you for the questions. We are unable to give you the figures because of the limitations of the law. We wait for the official announcement by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. But we are also collating and tabulating the election, so we know what we're talking about. Advocate Mahere has not been dismissed, still an integral part of the movement. She has been redeployed elsewhere, and the president will state those things. Currently, as you all know, Advocate Mahere is seized with campaigning in one of the problematic constituencies here in Harare. I'm told actually that Healy polling station in a constituency, there were problems around the display of the VLM. So you can imagine the task at hand. I think I would have answered. I've answered those two. I will defer the third question.
Okay, thank you. In response to the question regarding the issue of the ballot paper, you go to section 52A of our Electoral Act. It's very clear with respect to the duty of a ZEC to inform stakeholders, and also there is the overriding duty to be transparent and to be accountable. When talking about transparency, we expected ZEC to give stakeholders the opportunity to, in fact, not stakeholders, but the nominated candidates, the opportunity to inspect the ballot paper. This has been the trend in the previous elections. You go back to even the by-elections in March 2022. Our candidates had the opportunity to inspect the vote, to inspect the ballot paper. And just like in 2018, if you could recall the sample ballot paper that was in circulation, that was part of the inspection. But because ZEC abrogated its duty of being, its responsibility of being transparent, this is why we're in a mess yesterday. You'd go, for example, in wards, in Bulawayo, for example, Ward 1 and Ward 22. We had cases where there was a mix-up, in those areas where some of our candidates, CCC candidates, were not on the ballot paper. And also you go to one ward in Jimba, you would realize that, there's the name of the CCC candidate, but the face is a ZANU-PF person. So those are issues that could have been resolved when ZEC would have opened up to stakeholders to inspect the ballot. So in short, we never consulted, and there was no opportunity to inspect. And moreover, the issue of the design of the ballot paper for the president. We noted that ZEC breached the law. It's clear in the law that the ballot paper should be in a single column and should be in alphabetical order. But because we're not consulted in the design and ZEC chose not to follow the law, you realize that the ballot paper had two columns. And the two columns were meant to profile Mr. Mangaba so that he becomes #1 on the ballot paper, which clearly you know, we see some connivance between ZEC and the incumbent. So these are the concerns that we've raised with regards to the ballot paper. Thank you. Any further questions?
Love John Trubiza from CCC. There are about 39 CSO members who were arrested, I think yesterday, and the government is alleging that they are working with you, the CCC. How exactly are you, or were you working with them?
Thank you for that. Any other question?
Yeah, one here, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, John McDermott from The Economist. If the PBT results that you put out are different in a negative way from the official ZEC results, what, in addition to a court challenge, would the CCC strategy be? For instance, would you call for peaceful protests by your supporters?
Well, I cannot speak on behalf of the organizations, but to the best of my understanding, civil society organizations are independent and impartial organizations. They work with everybody. They work with every stakeholder. It could be ZANU, it could be CCC, wherever they want to work. So I think the statement by the government is inaccurate and really just, you know, trying to justify an unjustifiable arrest. They should not even be talking about that, because those people are not supposed to be arrested in the first place. And the problem is that the arrests, they actually stain the credibility of the election. And you wonder what the logic is there. Then in terms of the election results, I think what we can say for now is that we are monitoring the situation. We've learned a lot from the past, and we will be responding accordingly at the appropriate time. But what we want to assure the people of Zimbabwe is that we are not going to let ZANU-PF get away with theft again. I think if there are no other questions.
Yes, one more. Just a simple statement. Are you aware on the arrest of election observers in a region called Grange? If yes, how many have been arrested? If you are aware of any election observers who have been arrested?
No, we're not aware.
There's a hand here.
My
I
question.
think we'll take the last three questions.
My name is freelance journalist. So my question is emanating from Data Center, where I was covering yesterday.
Which is that?
Data Center. I spoke to the contesting candidate for CC, and he highlighted that there was a lot of information. He said the contesting candidate for Zambia passed people. I think he said about 10 buses, which came from places like Zaraban, all the various colleges in Zimbabwe. I wanted to hear your position. What are you going to do? What's the plan? Because you say we have been handling the plan.
Well, I'm not privy to the facts of that case. But as I said, we have separate different departments that are monitoring everything to respond to it when it is brought to our attention. Last one.
Yes. I presume that the CCC is being engaging the police concerning electoral anomalies and irregularities. So I want to know, with your engagements, are the police aware of the shadowing group called FAS and its activities, and what has been their communication or position concerning FAS?
Thank you. Yes, the only engagement that we had with the police with respect to FAS was when they violated citizens and actually beat our people. Like, for example, a case in Mavuko during the voters' roll inspection. The thing is, we all know who FAS is. And even when we report to the police, even when we talk to them to say these people, they are violating voters, no action has been taken. So clearly, as much as we can report out there, but nothing's been done. So this is why we are saying, as the citizens, we continue encouraging everyone out there not to be intimidated by facts, because we clearly know that it's working with ZANU-PF. And we are aware of the shenanigans that happened during voting, where they intimidated voters. We are aware. This is why we have concerns in some areas, like for example in Mutasa South, Mutasa Central that is talking about. We received cases of intimidation by facts. But then that didn't stop the citizens. Some were resilient, some thought, no, you know what, this is time, the opportunity to bring about change. So they can do anything, but they will not change the hearts of citizens. But anyway, the bottom line is that as a party, we are monitoring their activities. We will ensure by all means, democratic and peaceful means, that our people are protected out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this press conference. Please do note that we will be updating you at regular intervals. And feel free to phone us for any comments or any information that you may need. Thank you very much.